come to you. What is your assessment of government's rationale to introduce this 1 Ghana cedi, 1 litre fuel levy?
Helen, good morning once again, and good morning to my brother. I mean, first of all, we must understand that the development of every country is based on taxation. So as a citizen, you must not be afraid to be taxed, because that's the only way any government can survive. I remember when President Kufuor came, he brought in the toll recovery levy. The idea was to reinstate toll. But as we speak, what is the status of toll? If you look back, then you say maybe President Kufuor got it wrong. Whatever he brought could not materialize or could not achieve.
Talk about the losses that toll sees year on year in excess of billions of
toll
Ghana
is not functioning.
cedis.
So when Professor Mills also came in, he brought in the ESLA. The idea was to deal with the huge energy sector debt. That could not also materialize because in 2017, when the MPP came to power, they took over a debt of $2.1 billion. Now we are in 2025, and the debt is $3.1 billion. So it means within the last 8 years, the NPP added $1 billion to our debt stock. So it tells you that the problem really is not about putting more taxes for the people to pay. We need to go back to the root cause and tackle what is wrong there before we begin to implement any taxation. Other than that, we will just be fetching water into a basket without achieving...
Somebody says like putting a plaster on a gunshot wound.
Absolutely. I mean, the problem, we are told that ECG, that is at the lowest ebb of the whole supply chain, distribution losses alone, last year they incurred 32%, which is the highest in the industry. I mean, the industry accepts losses within 10%. But ECG alone lost 32% of how much they were supposed to have raked into the system. Now you have what you call the cash waterfall mechanism. So they are supposed to collect the monies. Electricity or energy is generated by VRA, transmitted by GRICO, and distributed by ECG. So if ECG fails, the whole supply chain fails. And here is an institution that is incurring a loss of 32%. Which business will survive? And when you go into it as to why they are losing such monies, it has to do with metering, billing, and power theft. So why are we not dealing with that? We live in a country where we know where illegal connections are. These illegal connections are done by ECG officials. They take the money and put it in their pocket and incur losses to the state. We live in a country where a citizen wants to get meter. Meter is like cocaine. Hey, give me meter, let me pay too. Must I beg? You have to beg before you get a meter. We live in a country where the American embassy told us that they have been there for more than 2 years. Nobody came for their bills. They don't go for it. They would rather go and chase the poor people. So that is where the problem is. So to be able to deal with this problem, we have to, as it were, tackle some of this. Beyond that, the actions and inactions of the officials at the ECG itself, sole sourcing. I have set time with that number that every procurement at ECG is inflated by a factor of 150%. They bloat it.
You say it's inflated by 150%?
So, for instance, if ECG is going to buy a bottle of water, in the open market, if it costs 1 cedi, ECG alone will buy it 1 cedi 50 pesos. Because of chop. They don't care about you. Now there has been another element where officials themselves, they steal containers. Haven't you been told this? And you want me to pay for it?
You're talking about the ECG container scandal. We're told some of these containers have resurfaced.
That is why the Ghanaian must be talking. We must be speaking. But for the vociferous nature of the Ghanaian, those containers would have... In any case, I want to see the content of those containers. We must be shown it now. Seeing is believing. Else, I won't take it serious. Now, the budget that was presented on the 11th of March 2025 had this in it. The revision of the ESLA energy sector levy. So my brother is right that it will be reviewed. And once a budget is passed, it means we have accepted everything that is contained in it. That is why the same budget that said that e-levy has to be removed, it has been removed. So if you agree that e-levy has to be removed by reason of the fact that the budget has been passed, well, then why would you have a problem with the increment in the fuel prices? They had already told us. We must not give ears to these busy-for-nothing politicians. What they do in parliament is theatrics.
Who are you referring to?
I'm referring to both the opposition and the majority.
So yesterday you were glued onto what was happening on the House of Parliament.
No, I wasn't.
Theatrics.
No, theatrics. I had known from day one that once the budget was passed, I was in anticipation of the increment. I had known from day one. But the problem is that, you see, these MPs, they don't come to us to solicit their views, our views. They go there and take decisions for themselves. That is why the citizens are disconnected with their MPs. The MP in your area, did he or she ever discuss with you about this thing?
No.
But he went to Parliament to pass the budget. So if the budget has been passed and the MPs represent you, the presumption is that you agree. So why must you have a problem? But we are saved by the bell. I want to go by what the finance minister said, that this will not have an impact on us. I want to believe that this finance minister is not like Nana Akufo-Addo, who said, you are never going to have haircut the next one where we had it. So he says, by virtue of the fact that there is stability, which I agree, in any case, let's be frank to ourselves. In terms of how these people have managed themselves, they have done so far better than what the MPP did.
That's your assessment of the last 5 months.
In terms of the stability of the currency. I mean, just recently, a liter of diesel was going for like 15 cedis. Today is within the region of 12 cedis. You understand? So if they come to you that you have to pay 1 cedi to go and deal with an issue that is threatening the very existence of the economy. My worry has to do, it's not about the tax imposition, but as to whether or not we will not do the same things over and over again, so that by the time the NDC leaves office, we will be told that there is a debt of about 5 billion in the same energy sector. That would not be acceptable to the people of this country. Let us do our best to go into the industry. I have heard this administration say that they want to privatize some aspect of the operations of ECG. I agree.
That's right.
Because it is contained in our GDP. Metering.
This is the great transformation
plan. That's why I always come here with it. I wonder why when they are coming, they don't bring their green books and their red books anymore.
Digitalization.
Forget about it. That is what they swindle you with, digitalization. They said it, and then National Service, they bloated the figures. You go there. So I agree with them that they have to privatize some aspects. Because, you see, it is not for nothing that Enclave Power Company, you know, we have a private sector company that also runs distribution in this country within the free zones enclave. They are incurring a loss of only 2.5%. Whereas ECG is incurring a loss of 32%. So it means that our problem is managerial. We are not having the right personnel at the right place to deal with the issues. And once we get that, and with this, we should be able to clean the sheet so that we will have a buoyant economy. I slept in darkness the whole of yesterday night.
You had doomso?
Doomso. The way my daughters were sweating, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. So if I slept in darkness and I wake up and you come and tell me 1 cedi, on the surface or the face of it, I have to go and chase the finance minister. But the truth of the matter is also that there is a debt to be paid. If you do not pay the IPPs, how would they be in business? And if they are not in business, how would you get your energy needs? And that is where the issues are. Corruption must be nipped in the bud in that sector. It's so widespread. That is not surprise you that the former chair of the ECG company, Afenyo Markins himself, who was shouting in Parliament, told you that at ECG, they still at war, and he was in the know. And nobody has been questioned. I believe you'll come to the next topic, but if you are not going to come to it, it is the reason why ORA must work.
We'll certainly come to it.
You will come there, because my group has issued a statement, a very serious statement to this administration that they must take the issue of ORA very serious. If we are going to do it and do it well, some of this money will come into the national kitchen. We may not even need to increase prices. You understand? The monies are with the people, the individuals, the private persons.
You think it will be easy to recoup and recover those monies so that we don't have to pay additional taxes and levies and so on and so forth?
Haven't you heard the testimonies going on in the court in the matter of Eduboy? The errand boy.
Talking about Director...
How he has been going to collect money belonging to you and I. How difficult must it be to go for our money?
The wheels of justice, they grind slowly.
Why must it grind slowly? The judges, they are there to grind it fast, not slowly. If they are slow, we must tell them to be fast so that we collect our money to develop this country. People are suffering. The youth are suffering. They are expectant of development. We must only give them hope. And that hope can only come showing them that, yes, we mean business. So I will be here to tackle the next subject matter.
Most certainly. Thank you.